Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Perkins. I'm here today to talk about the effectiveness of critical incident stress debriefing, critical incident stress management. First, let me address what CISD is and what it is not. CISD, critical incident stress debriefing, is a structured 7-step trauma intervention technique that is designed for properly trained personnel who follow proper protocol and procedures to assist a specific group of individuals. And that specific group of individuals primarily are those who are in the helping industry and emergency services field who have been exposed to a tragedy or a trauma. CISD is not therapy. CISD is not a cure. CISD is not psychotherapy, and CISD is not used to treat PTSD. The purpose of conducting a CISD has two main objectives. The first objective is to restore normal, healthy function to normal, healthy people in the aftermath of a tragedy. Well, what does that mean? Well, many times when people are exposed to a trauma or a tragedy, they can feel overwhelmed by the body's normal responses to experiencing such an event. And as a result, it can paralyze them from being able to do the everyday things and tasks, both in their personal life and in their professional lives. And the end result of a CISD is not to erase the memory of the incident, but rather to allow them to return to normal, healthy function that they enjoyed prior to exposure to that traumatic event. CISD does not necessarily eliminate symptoms that individuals may be experiencing, but rather mitigates the level of intensity of those symptoms to allow the person to return to the normal functions of daily life. CISD does not eliminate the need for further professional mental health interventions like psychologists, counselors, or peer support. Many people, though, after being exposed to a trauma and participating in a CISD, can return to their lives without any type of further intervention required. On the other hand, some people need more help and assistance, and the CISD facilitators in delivering a CISD provide resources and referrals for those people who require such help. It's actually part of the process. Now, the second objective of CISD is to promote cohesion of the group. CISD is a group intervention, and many times when members of a group are exposed to trauma, people will tend to withdraw from the group, lessening the effectiveness of the group and as well preventing healing from the incident in a group dynamic. There is a great deal of reputable published studies on CISD. In fact, there are 82 published studies that I have read personally. And of those 82 published studies, there are only 17 which report any negativity towards the effectiveness of CISD. And of those 17 negative studies, when you look at them carefully, you will see that the studies in their own documentation showed that they did not follow proper CISD procedures and protocols, that the CISDs were not performed by properly trained CISD facilitators, and many of them performed CISDs on individuals and not groups. And the individuals were not part of the demographic it was designed for. CISD was designed for emergency services personnel. Some of these negative studies, they did a CISD on a burn victim, one-on-one, not in a group, and not a member of the demographic to which CISD was actually designed for. CISD is a 7-step process. The second step in the process is to have the individual recount the traumatic event in great detail, to talk about it. So the notion that we only talk about how the person feels about it is entirely false. Now keep this in mind. CISD is not the answer or the solution to all of the problems of trauma with the police and emergency services personnel who carry out their duties. It does not erase or treat the trauma, but it does allow people that are debriefed to get normal function back, if they are debriefed by properly trained individuals who follow the protocols and give debriefings to those individuals to whom this type of intervention was designed for, which is emergency services personnel. There are no studies that show harm was ever caused to an individual that was debriefed by people who were properly trained, followed the CISD protocol, and delivered it to emergency services personnel, again, whom it was designed for, nor is there any evidence that it ever worsened PTSD.